Welcome back to Isimo. We have merch available. Hit the link in the description to visit our Etsy shop and check it out. And for today's Patreon shout out, we have Alex Knotts, Angel Amezcua, owner and operator of Legacy Teas and Spices, Aparni Ronnie, Aztec God, Eddie Bravo, Emily Castro, Imperium Sloth, Izzy Sandoval, Jazz, Kareem, Daria, Nia Town, Nicholas Marino, aka Calzone, Not Mitch, P-Dog, Veronica Lopez, and Yesenia Oropeza. Sorry for not shouting out Yesenia. It's just your last name's really hard to say. Just kidding. Check out our Patreon. That's our $20 tier. We give you a shout out on the podcast. Before we get started with today's episode of Isimo, Jarito had a couple of words to say. Fly! Hello, everyone. I wanted to quickly say, first of all, that I don't really talk much, but it's not because of my own doing. These guys are assholes. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jarito. I don't really say much on the podcast, but today is a very sad day. We had a legend pass away. His name, Vicente Fernández. So if you have any heart within you, like me, as a puppet, I have a big heart. Grab your pistolas and aim it to the sky and shoot away. That means you, Yolanda, too, okay? And welcome back to Isimo.
Yes, on my podcast. That sounded weird.
Welcome back today. We would like for you to follow us on Instagram at IsimoPod, ISIMOPOD. Send us emails at isimopod@gmail.com. Go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know the drill. And then follow us on Spotify. Hey, also rate and reviews on Apple Podcasts, right, guys? And also, we have a Patreon. If you would like to become a patron, what do they do?
Shit. You can check the link in the description and you sign up for our Patreon. For just $5 a month, you get access to our Discord. You get extra episodes every week and early access to our main episodes. For $20 a month, we'll put your picture on our board and give you a little shout out.
Right here. And it's hard. I'm trying to do a new setup for the board and I'm scared it's going to fall on me. What's it called? Yeah. And when we get 100 patrons, we'll do a live show. Right, guys?
Yeah, we're going to do a live comedy show and it's going to be great. It'll be digitally streamed and, available to the public.
Tight. So now today, what are we talking about? Ryan?
We're talking about heroes. Hirore.
Yes.
I don't know if I said that right.
Hiroe in Spanish?
Yeah, I'm not good at R's sometimes.
Oh my God. Look, it moves every time I go like that.
Well, yeah, because you're touching it.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, speaking of heroes, fucking Vicente Fernández passed away, unfortunately. Yeah. But also, let's be honest, he was very old, right?
Yeah, he was like 81.
81? I think 81.
He was up there.
Yeah.
And also, like a little while ago, didn't he like trip and fall? And it was like a big thing?
It was like 4 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, around there.
Yeah.
But so anyways, rest in peace to Vicente Fernández, a hero to all mariachi musicians everywhere, but not to probably like loyal relationships. I don't think he was faithful. Yeah. It was a sad day. Sad day
in Mexican history.
Especially when you wake up to that shit. I think my brother told me in the morning. I'm like, why are you telling me this? Like,
I found out because of your post.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, fuck.
I found out at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I found out, I think Saturday, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to be the one to tell you guys about it first.
This was the fucking harbinger of doom over here.
Because of the whole Norm Macdonald shit.
Yeah. I forget what the term is, but you technically killed Norm Macdonald for me.
I know. I was like, how? I don't want to be the guy that just knows when everyone's died.
But heroes live more so than other humans, but they also die just like everyone else. Right, guys? Okay. I don't know if that was motivation.
What was it like when you found out? Like, how was the day spent?
For Vicente Fernández?
Yeah.
Well, I came home from a party on Saturday, and he died Sunday. Mm-hmm. So, but Saturday night, I was listening to his songs in the car on the way back to my apartment.
Right.
So when I found out he died, it didn't like break my heart or anything.
Yeah.
He was older. It just sucks that he did die. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it is a loss. But
it's like, how did you feel when Stan Lee died? You know what I mean?
He took it hard.
Like, I know, I'm asking like a real question. I'm not trying to make fun of you.
No, that's why I pointed out.
Yeah, it was like, it was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
The two like celebrities, because I acknowledge that I'm not close to celebrities. So when celebrities pass, sometimes it's hard. I always acknowledge like, damn, I'm not going to see anything from this guy anymore. But I've never really, there's only ever been two celebrities that I like felt.
Yeah.
other than Vicente Fernández, because I have I'm rambling. Anyway, it was Stanley and it was Gene Wilder.
Oh yeah. Gene Wilder was sad too, but they were all old. They were all very fucking old.
Gene Wilder had like the luckiest, like the way to go. It was insane. He died in his sleep listening to like his favorite music. His wife and kids were with him. It was damn.
Yeah. When I found out Vicente died, I just spent the morning listening to his music because I realized that I never really listened to it. Like, I've known it. We all know Volved, blah, 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 blah. Sorry.
I don't know what that is at all.
Yeah. But you know, I never really...
That's so funny that you're like, we all know that blah, 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 blah song.
And then you just keep going.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt it again.
Volved, it's fucking easy.
I can't do it sometimes. Well, V's and R's are hard for me to bounce back off of.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Why are you doing this to me,
sorry,
dude? We're supposed to be a fucking team. No, I just realized that I only have like memories of like my grandparents listening to it, and then like, you know, my friends that had more traditional families listening to him, and then obviously like he has cult status. Not cult status, but like he's a legend.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like hearing bits and pieces here and there. So then I just spent the morning like listening to it, and it's kind of like whenever something like this happens, I always think of the people that I know that love that thing. I felt the same way when Kobe passed, of just like, oh fuck Miguel and like Joshua Watt, or like, you know, and that's what I felt like when Vicente. I was like, oh, my grandpa, or like, you know, my friends. Like, you feel sorry for them, not sorry, but you know, you try to empathize, like, oh, this must be hard for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, when Kobe died, that shit hit me hard. But also, it was like 5 days after my grandpa passed away.
Oh,
so
right.
It was weird. Like, I felt kind of happy because the whole world was mourning.
Right.
While I was also mourning at the same
Right.
time. So, but with Vicente, did you know that he had his ranch, like, open at one time? It was like his ranch was open for everyone to come.
I did hear about that. I think my grandma told me about that.
And then somebody came, or I think, like, I don't know if Mafia or whatever came and kidnapped his son, and they cut his fingers off. And then Vicente was like, okay, time to lock the gates.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck, he was like Mexican Willy Wonka.
But I did have a fantasy that I would go
That's
to his ranch
terrible.
one day and like watch him perform. But that will never happen. But that's like as sad as my sadness goes. Because there's like so many concerts of him online that are great, and you can just watch.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so crazy. Like, he's performed like hours worth of concerts, just like giving it all to the audience.
Yeah.
And then like the thing that I liked the most was like when I found out, I think you told me about this, but like he used to just like play for like small towns, like at carnivals and stuff, as a way for them to make money. Like,
I don't know if I told you that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah. That he would just go play, like perform, you know, so that people could raise money, kind of a thing.
And so sad. The Charo of Jalisco died, dude.
El Rey de Ranchero.
Dude, let's be honest. He fucking dressed to the nines, dude, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he carried a gun with him everywhere he went. That's fucking dope, dude.
Insane.
And then, but another huge music legend, Juan Gabriel, when he died, I remember that being hardcore for people because he died at a younger age.
Yeah. I remember. That was a big deal because he has a song that's about his mom.
Yeah.
And my mom like always played that song for us, and like the way he cries during the performance is wild.
Yeah. The Juan Gabriel death was crazy because I guess he had a heavy steak diet.
Oh yeah, he
started gaining weight, dude, like crazy.
I feel so bad because I remember seeing he fell off the stage.
Yeah, and it was like a huge meme thing.
Yeah, but it was like because he looks like when at that stage that's rude. He looked like fucking what's Freddie Soto, the comedian, like very like animated like that. And so I always like imagine Freddie Soto falling off the stage.
Yeah. But Juan Gabriel, legend. Vicente Fernández, legend. There's been actually a couple other deaths as far as Mexican artists go, but more predominantly Mexican entertainers.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we could talk at a later time.
Yeah.
And also we have an episode on our Patreon called Deathissimo, if you want to check that out.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's the one where Norm Macdonald passed away, and then we had to do an episode right after that.
Yeah.
So it's Ryan's fault.
We pushed record and Ryan said Norm Macdonald died.
That felt so bad. Like it literally was just like bling. Oh shit.
But also just to say that coincided with this week's topic, which we had chosen. Oh, farted. Sorry.
Sorry.
What?
Well, it's because I just wanted to talk about one thing that was kind of crazy about this whole thing. So it's like, obviously everybody was mourning Vicente. Did you hear about the thing that happened in Hollywood?
What happened?
So people gathered around his star because he got a star on the Walk of Fame. And so people gathered around there and were like playing his music and like leaving flowers and stuff. And some fool in one of the apartments across the street started firing a pistol at the crowd. It was crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like he was shooting
at the crowd.
Did he hit anybody?
The reports that I read didn't have, I don't think had anything. They arrested this guy. I forget his name, but you know, piece of shit.
What?
But it's crazy that people
I heard
would
about
do
the
that.
shooting. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sorry, I wanted to
I thought
put
you were
that in
just
there,
gonna
but it's
say
just
everyone
like,
in your neighborhood played songs.
Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ, it was like a touching story until somebody pulled a pistol out. Jesus Christ.
well, that was
That's like that South Park episode. And then I pull out my gun.
That was a beautiful thing. Was that like the day of, my whole neighborhood, like you could walk to different parts of like, you know, I walk my dog, and like somebody on each block is playing Vicente, and like at night there's usually soccer games at the school across from where I live, and they play their music fucking loud, and they play like all kinds of music. So I thought that they were having like a ceremony for like mourning, and I was like walking around trying to find it, and it was just some fool that was like feeling it really hard, like just fucking blasting it super loud. I was like, damn, this was going through it.
It was cool because I've been keeping up with Liga MX, which is the Mexican soccer league,
right?
And on the day of his passing was the final, because there's 2 games for the final,
right?
So there's like an aggregate score of the 2 games. Right. So the second game took place on Sunday, and they had a huge, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter because they reposted this so much and it was trending.
Yeah.
That there was a video of the what is it called, like celebration of life video they had at the beginning of the game. And then so everyone was singing Volver Volver in the stadium and shit, and it was crazy. And then to top that all off, Atlas won, which is a team from Jalisco, which is where Vicente Fernández is from.
Yeah.
That reminded me of this meme I saw like literally before I got here, and I didn't know what it meant until like right now. Like a bunch of shit from Mexico happened this past weekend. Like I think a Mexican won the Formula 1 race.
Oh, really?
And
if it's Sergio, whatever his name is, I don't like that racer, but that's cool.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was him, but it was like, yeah, if someone posted. They took this old clip of Drake and Josh where they both look like confused, and Josh has a huge ass fake mustache. It looks Mexican because he was pretending to be Mexican in the episode. And then they photoshopped a bunch of stuff, like when you're a fan of all these things and all of them happened on the same day.
Yeah.
And it was like Miss Universe Mexico won or something, Formula 1, and like everything you just mentioned all happened like in the same weekend. It's fucking insane.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of great things.
That's so funny.
That's how he sang.
Oh yeah.
So that leads into the topic today, which was superheroes. Basically.
Yeah. Which we didn't know this was happening. Obviously, we didn't know beforehand. We picked the topic like last week. But in the past, this year, 2 comics came out, and there was a 3rd comic I just found out about last month because Fortnite did a thing with this. I'll start with that one. So a lot of Latino people are familiar with Chapulin, Colorado.
Yeah.
Which was like an old sitcom character, right? Who was also, I think it was the Crimson Cricket was his persona. Mm-hmm. I might be wrong, but he had a superhero, and the whole point of it was that he was bad at being a superhero. He was like, he didn't have any superpowers. He just wore the suit and showed up, and he's inspired a lot of media and a lot of I would say like representation for us. Like he's the inspiration for the Bumblebee Man and the Simpsons, which isn't great.
I don't like, because I read articles too where they're talking about like that Bumblebee Man was an homage to Chapulin, and I don't think that's true.
Kind of wasn't. Yeah, he was kind of making fun of the character, but you know what I mean? He has influenced media is what I was getting at. Yeah. And Fortnite did skins of him last month, I think, in honor of Mexican Heritage, even though they're like a month and a half late.
Yeah.
But it was funny to me because I knew I recognized the character based on the skin. It doesn't look exactly like him. It's just like the suit. But the thing said old man red bug suit. And I was like, the fuck is that? It's Chapulin, Colorado.
Yeah.
But that was cool. And then through that, I found out that Marvel bought the rights to the image of Chapulin for a comic book. And in 2017, they created the Red Locust, who's inspired by Chapulin. And they were really dope. Like I read about the whole arc of it. They're like descended from a Mayan heritage or Aztec heritage. Basically, her story is she's got passed down the Red Locust armor, and she's a hydraulics engineer. So she modifies it and creates the Red Locust. And she's a protector of the wandering. So she goes around the desert looking out for people who are endangered. She helps like immigrants, make it safely travel through the lands of Mexico, but also like over the border legally. But I thought it was really cool that she like specifically looks out for immigrants.
Yeah,
and that was really cool. And she's been referenced. She has her own comic book, and she's also done like some crossovers. I forget who she meets. I think she meets like the Avengers at one point, but it's really dope. That was the first comic I found out about. And then Dominic posted the two of them on her Discord. Check out our Patreon for our Discord. But the first one was John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Who actually teamed up with
Todd McFarlane.
Who creates for Spawn. And they actually, I thought this was cool. They became friends during the Spawn movie because John Leguizamo played one of the characters, and this dude was like a reference point for the movie. So through that friendship, they teamed up to make Phenom X, which is a really cool. I believe he's Puerto Rican. His story arc is he's sent to jail on some charges, and to kind of survive prison, he volunteers to be part of a science experiment, and becomes a mutant, and he becomes part of this like whole mutant war. It's like very, I would say, similar to a lot of stories you see with mutants. Like X-Men is a great inspiration for stuff like that because it's a really good way of dealing with topics like that of like how some people are seen as lesser than just because they're different, and it talks about topics about like the penal system. It's really cool. That's like Leguizamo's.
That story was really cool. I don't know if you knew about this, but like the guy, I forget his first name, but he teamed up with he was a chief editor, I think, for Marvel at one point. His last name is Alonso. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
Alfredo Alonso or something like that. Sorry. Anyway. But like that guy was like the reason why like Michael Morales, what's his name? That's not his name.
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. I'm sorry. Miles Morales was like became Spider-Man. Yeah. Like he was behind that, and then he left Marvel to like because he saw a lack of diversity. Obviously, it's like whenever a new superhero comes out, and like we saw Shang-Chi and Black Panther, they get touched on a lot, but like Latinos are always like, what about us? Like when are we gonna get somebody? And I mean, I don't know what your guys' history with like comic books and superheroes and stuff was, but it's like when I was a kid, I wasn't super into them, so I didn't really connect to the lack of diversity until much later. And I know there's only like a handful of like Latino heroes that were kind of like given opportunities, but not really pushed. Like I didn't know that there's a hero called the White Tiger in Marvel that's Mexican.
Yeah.
And like, but no, you know what I mean? Like,
I didn't find out about her until she's supposed to be like the Black Panther sidekick or something. There was, I didn't find out about her like 10 years ago, but she's existed way longer than that. This, Marvel, after they got bought by Disney, released a cartoon that was like a younger version of the Avengers. It was like a new Spider-Man and Friends. I forget what it was called. Yeah. But it was Spider-Man. It was a young Luke Cage or Power Man. It was I forget his name, Nova Star, and it was the White Tiger. That's how I found out about her. She's like, it's like the Black Panther, but it's Hispanic or Latino,
but white.
Yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't make it like a jaguar or something.
Yeah, or just like a chupacabra or something.
Well, I think that would have been the idea, but jaguars, I believe, and panthers are kind of the same thing.
I mean, let's be honest. Chupacabra, sickest name of all time, dude. If there would be a superhero called Chupacabra, that'd be dope.
Get out of my way, fool.
What does that mean? Get out of my way.
I don't know. I just
that's his
tagline.
Don't they like drink the blood or marrow from goats or something? Yeah.
It's like your friendly neighborhood Chupacabra. Get out of my way. That's what he says.
Yeah, not so friendly.
Yeah.
He's from your neighborhood, but he's not friendly.
I like all superheroes and also all of Marvel movies. I like every single one. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like the worst one is Thor 2, but still 10 out of 10 stars for me.
That one I kept falling in, and like I kept losing consciousness in that movie.
I'm so happy about all of Marvel's MCU thing. It's amazing. Obviously, like there could be more Latinos, but I love Marvel, the MCU altogether. I'm like just like I'm a die easy for the MCU.
How do you feel about? So I don't know. Salma Hayek always brings up certain conversations about Latino representation. Like, how do you guys feel about Salma Hayek?
She's tight.
I mean, she's cool. She's a talented actress, and it was cool to see like a Latina in like a major role, even though you pointed out
right at the top.
Yeah, I mean, she dies in the movie, but I mean, the function of the story is dope. Like, it's the white man killed this Latina. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's always like raises questions, at least in my own head, because it's like Salma Hayek is Latina for sure. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody, but she's also like she's not indigenous. She's like German and Middle Eastern. Yeah. I think she's Saudi Arabian. So it's like it's interesting to see how Hollywood like fits that into like Latin representation, where it's because she's brown. I think like she gets a lot of roles, and she's kind of like a catch-all because she plays like Cubans and Colombians and Mexicans and stuff. But it's interesting because she's not like indigenous. I don't know.
What I said about the movie Eternals, right, which is the one Salma Hayek's in, is that all these fucking crazy ass superheroes are in Mexico when they're being colonized by Spain, and even they are like, we can't fucking do anything about this, dude. It's crazy. It's like all these superheroes are like, this place is hopeless, dude. You know? Yeah. That's what I was saying about it.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a super like there's Phenomex, Black or Red Locust, right?
The Red Locust.
The Red Locust. And then there's Primos, that El Magico.
Primos, I'm like super excited for.
So, but what I think there should be some kind of superhero that was like killing Spaniards back in the day. You know what I mean?
That would be interesting because like apparently there was Robbie Reyes who was like for an arc he was Ghost Rider, but that like arc failed. But that would be a cool like way to bring back Ghost Rider.
Have Ghost Rider go back in time and just fucking have a musket killing a bunch of Hernan Cortezes running around, dude.
That would be pretty tight.
This is cool. He was like the one that was like a retro rider or something like a.
I have no idea.
He's not the race car driver, right? He's the one that rides a horse. Idea. There's been a few, and there's also I don't know when they did it, but they kind of rewrote a character called Wildcat. In a lot of iterations, he's just a white guy, but in a couple, he was I think he's Puerto Rican.
Picture this, dude, like modern day Mexican superhero. What's the superpower? Give me a superpower that this guy has. Fire. There we go. So I don't know. He spontaneously combusts. His inability to get burnt. What's it called? He goes around killing people that were related to Spaniards that killed indigenous people.
Oh, like there's like Ghost Rider. I don't know.
Cluster.
I was gonna say Ghost Rider. Oh, no, but that's not it.
There's not that, but there was like a short film. I don't remember who made it. It was a TV film, but I think it was called like The Apache, and it was like a vigilante who was Mexican. That came out. That was kind of. It wasn't exactly what you're saying.
Well, first of all, The Apache is a great fucking name, and they should be like that should be like the Mexican Spider-Man, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think that was his name, but he was like a very indigenous person. He was Latino, but he was like trying to connect to his thing was fighting like Latin injustice.
So Michael Pena already has a role in Marvel. He's Ant-Man's fucking little bitch. What is he? No,
I don't know.
Well, it's something you mentioned last time.
Doesn't he become a superhero eventually?
Yeah, there's like gonna be a thing with him soon.
Yeah,
in the upcoming universe.
So he's out of the question. So we get Diego Luna beefed up, right? Shout out Diego Luna. We follow him. We follow him on Instagram. We should get him beefed up, and then make him, let's just say, the Apache, right? And
you can't have Diego Luna play the Apache.
Oh, because he's Spanish.
Because he's white.
Oh,
you could have like maybe Tenoch Huerta.
Let's just put but let's put Diego Luna in brown face. Just kidding. No, so what's his name?
It's going down fast.
Tenoch Huerta.
Tenoch Huerta. Let's have him play whatever the superhero is, and then he goes around killing a bunch of Spaniards that are like lineage of people that fucking colonized Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And then Javier Bardem is one of the people, but he's like a political figure, so it's harder to kill him. And he's like, behind the scenes, he's like this. But in public, he's like, oh, you know, I'm giving to Greenpeace and all this like humanitarian stuff. And so, what's his name? Huerta? Diego? Tenoch. So Tenoch Huerta's character is like, damn, fool, I'm conflicted. Like, this guy is like a really, you know, beacon of light for Spanish people all over the world. And, you know, like, but he's also like his direct lineage. And also he goes like this behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
That's how you know there's a bad guy.
Yeah. So like maybe there's a scene that.
It's funny because like first half of this podcast, every couple of episodes, you guys do this.
Yeah.
This is where fun of your evil.
So there's a scene where Tenoch Huerta finds, he implants a fucking camera to figure out who this guy is. He doesn't know who he is. And then so he sees him by himself and he's like, I can kill everyone. You know, like some crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
There's still indigenous people alive. You know what I mean? And he's continuing his family heritage. And then the Apache has to fucking kill this fool. But the Apache doesn't know this guy has the same powers as him. Yeah,
that's
dude.
pretty decent concept.
Iron Man 2.0, dude.
But that's right. So it's not the same as what you're describing, but there's similar elements, and that's why I'm kind of most excited for Primos. It's Mexican. The characters, and there wasn't a lot because the comic's still being produced. It's supposed to come out in like February.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna buy the first issue, dude. I'm so excited about it. So the concept is these two brothers from the original Mayan civilization. Mayans figure out how to launch people into space. They figure out astrology. They have all this technology. They launch these two brothers into space as an experiment. These two brothers just like live their lives as, you know, intergalactic adventurers. And because of the laws of space travel, they're still young, like several hundred years later. They come back to the planet and they see that their civilization's been decimated. A lot of their culture's been misappropriated. All of this stuff's happened to their people and the descendants of their people. One brother, out of rage, dedicates his life to using the stuff he's learned from his travels and the technology he's collected to be an evil villain who wants to destroy the world as it exists today. So the other brother has to protect, you know, the descendants that they still have and the rest of the world. Ignites the like powers of his people from this specific bloodline that's descended from like the king of the original Mayans to these three cousins, and so they're invoked with this power. They don't talk a lot about the power yet in the article that I read, but from the art concepts, it looks super dope. They're incorporating Mayan style. They're incorporating Mayan weaponry. It looks super dope. They have like I forget what it's called, but this giant fucking paddle with spikes on the sides that you have to like wield with two hands. It's a really dope instrument. Yeah. There's other versions of it that exist in a lot of other tribal environments. Like I think the Mayans have something similar, but it's made of different material.
Yeah, one thing that's really cool is that El Madrigal is like they're researching Mayan culture as they're writing the
shit out of Mayan culture, dude. Okay, I'm so excited. I'm very excited for this comic to come
also
out.
I'm pretty sure they're cousins because the comic book is called Primos.
Yeah, I said cousins.
No, you did not. You said brothers.
I said cousins.
Well, he said cousins.
Okay. He said the bloodline of this people, and he invokes his power into these three cousins. I said that.
Oh, okay.
Rewind the tape.
I stopped listening to you.
You know what power should be though? They should fucking fire hot salsa out of their fingers, dude.
You just bumblebeed our Chapulin right now.
Bumblebeed? Who's that?
The Bumblebee Man.
Is that Beetle Man?
From The Simpsons.
Oh, okay. Well, dude, hot salsa, not everyone, like, especially white people fucking hate hot salsa.
Yeah, that's a weakness.
That'd be funny if that's how we win.
Yeah.
One time.
Just give them salt that they think is spicy.
I was an assistant on this movie and they made me go get second lunch, and the only thing that was open was Carl's Jr. So I got 10 regular chicken sandwiches, 10 spicy chicken sandwiches, and all the white, like, they were fucking sweating. They would take a bite and like, oh my god, the sandwich is so spicy.
It's so funny.
And they're like sweating. I'm like, that's just black pepper. Like,
yeah,
it's literally black pepper, paprika, and a little bit of cayenne. That's all that goes into a spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Nerds.
You thought they would be dying. So I think Tapatio out the finger.
That would be
But I'm talking, the noise and everything.
Yeah.
You can't do it without making the noise. Why won't it work? Because you're not going.
Instead of the noise, it's just weedy.
Oh my god.
What's it called? But no, it's not salsa that anyone can eat. It's like salsa to kill people. But it has to be eaten to kill you.
Tagline.
Yeah.
Salsa to kill.
Salsa to kill, dude.
Could be the first issue.
What if superhero's name is just Salsa?
Caliente.
And his dance, he has really good foot technique, and he's just dancing, and then weedy. You know what I mean?
What was Picoso? What was the name? No.
Está chiquito, pero está picoso.
Yeah.
Picoso chiquito. Dude.
Get on this.
Is his uniform inspired by the Tapatio guy?
I don't know. That's pretty racist.
Yeah, Ryan. Jesus Christ.
Not the dude that's dancing while he shoots salsa out of his finger.
And he has a rose in his mouth. No, but he has a mustache. But he doesn't have the fucking hat. Because the hat, let's
He
be honest.
doesn't have to have that. It said inspired by color schemes and whatnot.
That'd be funny though. In like the origin story, he's like turning into the superhero, and then a hat just sprouts out of his head.
That reminded me of a debate I used to have where, like, I feel like Mexican media, like cartoons and shows, is very similar to Japanese game shows and cartoons. And it reminded me of the White Ranger, who was the Green Ranger, because he always has that shield on him. I'm like, that looks like a mariachi a little bit.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's a thing with, like, obviously, like, I feel like Mexicans love Power Rangers. And like but there's always like a thing where like the Green Ranger was the most Mexican.
Yeah,
like
Probably was.
all the most Mexican kids.
That riff out of his sword, that sounds like a Mexican song.
Yeah. But didn't you do a? Oh no, one of you guys.
did it.
Yeah. And it got taken off of TikTok, right?
Yeah, because so Lizzo had the sound that went trending where she plays the flute while she's doing one of her songs. And a bunch of people were doing parodies of it, and everyone was doing Link, the character from Zelda.
Yeah.
But nobody was doing, and a bunch of people referenced it in comments. I'm like, how is no one doing this yet? So I cut clips from the original show of the Power Ranger playing his flute, and I just stapled on the sound, and it got kicked because the sword, at one point, the full flute is in frame, and it's a giant knife. So my video got deleted and I was banned from posting for 24 hours because of violent acts and weaponry.
It's so funny whenever that kind of stuff happens. It's always like, "Are you okay?"
So I posted it on YouTube and it got like 2,000 views.
Listen. I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Right.
But we should make like the Mexican Cinematic Universe, dude. The MCU.
There it
There
is.
it is.
The MXU.
The MXCU, dude.
All right. Everybody needs to come up with a super. We already did this.
Marvelos.
Yeah. What's it called? Isn't it? Do you guys have any?
He's the villain, I swear. No.
Do you guys have any idea of what comic book life is like in Mexico?
My dad and I talked about this before, and it's not common, but there are stories that are like the story of Zorro used to be in pamphlets that were similar to, they were more like Penny Dreadfuls, but they were a similar thing where it was like a little booklet that you would get, with newspapers and stuff. And so it's like Zorro was like one of the original comics in this area. There was also, I forget his name. It's like either Magico or El Magnifico, but it was like it was very similar to the concept of Doctor Strange, but it was based in Mexico. It was a Mexican comic. It was a Mexican magician who had magnificent powers. Because I was saying Magnifico.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I only know of the two, but I know that there are comic books in Mexico. There's just not as much, in the same way that like comedy is kind of a relatively new thing. Stuff like comic books and fandom in that sense isn't to that extent.
I think that because Mexican culture is very passionate about like the stuff that they love.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wasn't so much comic books. Like, if I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of it had to do with animation, like cartoons, superhero stuff, is like super popular out there. So like that's how they drew the fandom. And also there wasn't really like a lot of comic books. I don't know if like there was people making comics like I don't know what it is for like translating books into different languages, but I don't think there was like a lot of that. There's like been a few independent Mexican comic book writers that have put out their own like graphic novels and stuff in Mexico or in Latin America, I mean. Some of them are working on the projects that we're talking about, which is really tight because it's like all of the like, it's always like you need somebody above to like allow you to do the things that you need, but then once they're there, like John Leguizamo and Al Madrigal are like hiring all fucking like Latino writers and artists and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. I think one thing that they talk about is that like the biggest like comic book convention is in San Diego, so it's like it should be relatively close. Like the fandom is there, I think. At least even if it's newer, it's growing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like the fans are there. It's more about the people producing it where it's still growing.
I'm hesitant to like demand representation in comic books and whatnot because first of all, I don't read comic books as much. The only comic book I bought that I remember is chapters 1 through 7 of Civil War. That's when I first got into comics.
Right. It's funny because right now you very much look like a guy that would go to a convention.
I go there to root for Mexico. El Tri.
He goes there to put people in lockers.
But comic books, do you know who wrote the first comic book or no?
The first one?
No, I mean, because it's kind of a transitive, like it's an evolved media form. Because a lot of comic books started as like small prints and newspaper prints, and even just like old graphic designs that would have stories with them.
Yeah.
The original comic books were all small pamphlets, though.
Yeah, I would argue that like Mexican comedy, as far as I know, like El Chavo del Ocho and everything, it really depended heavily on like comedia dell'arte or vaudevillian humor.
Right. You know? Right.
And you know, there is something there. Like that shit's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I do this thing now. I don't know if you know. Have you guys ever watched El Chavo del Ocho?
Maybe.
It sounds familiar, but I'd have to see it again to remember.
The main character does this thing where he runs in his place when he's excited.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I feel like I do know. I'd have to see it again.
And then his friend does this thing where when he gets excited, he snaps and steps and spins at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's just fucking hilarious, dude. And that's like, how much more like comic booky can you get, dude? Like, like, or animated at least. But as far as like, obviously now in 2021, it's fucking awesome. Like I didn't read the article, but Primos sounds like fucking amazing to me, the way you just pitched it right now, and your excitement that you have for it. Like, how do we? I don't know. We're nobodies really, but how do we start to just like make this happen all the time? I guess we just have to buy the fucking comic, right?
I mean, at the base level, it just has to be like people have to allow it to become part of the norm.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was gonna say that fool Alonso in the one that was on Primos, what he talks about, like Ryan's talked about it before too. It's like it's all about risk taking and big companies not wanting to take risks, so they put things behind bigger names, and then all these new waves of comics. So like if you were like your whole life dream was to become a comic book writer or an artist, it's like you want to be associated with the biggest names because that's been your dream to fucking write for Batman, you know, and not write on this newer thing. So it's like a double-edged sword. I don't know if I'm using that right, but so it's like it's just like giving the space, because obviously we all want it, and I think there's room for it more now. That there's a demand for, you know, Latino art everywhere, or like Latino, not just representation, but like participation everywhere. And so I'm excited just for the fact that like we are starting to see it, and like we're starting to see people get work and like tell, you know, different stories that like mean something to us, you know.
Also, I made a TikTok video about it based on one of our old episodes, but I'm gonna say right here for the episode too, Batman should be Mexican. That guy's Mexican. That guy sounds Mexican. First of all, he's inspired by Zorro, a Mexican.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But secondly, like his one, I think that one of his major villains, more than the Joker, one that's like better at stopping him, better villain, smarter, is Bane. Yeah. And Bane's Mexican.
Yeah.
Fuck, or he should be.
Bane's Cuban.
He's Cuban, but he's Latino, and also it's like, what other kind of, not to put us in a box or anything,
Put
but
us
like,
in a box.
the amount of passion he gets from his parents dying, like that sounds like a novella. That he becomes a superhero.
Yeah.
Batman's Mexican.
All of Batman's villains sound like fucking gang names.
El Joker.
Joker, the Riddler, Bane.
El Pingüino.
I fucking love it. Yeah.
You're right. Mexican Batman, dude. MX.
Cholo Batman. It makes sense.
Two-Face. That's smile now, cry later, fool.
Smile now, cry later. Or at the same time, dog.
The theater tattoo that like every cholo has.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Just let him be Mexican.
I think also there is value. Like Mexicans find value in art.
Right. Yeah.
They just fucking pirate it for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like straight up, Mexicans pirated a lot of. Like I remember distinctly going to swap meets when I was younger and seeing all the DVDs. And I remember asking my mom and dad, like, "Oh shit, this is cheap as fuck. Can I get that?" And they would always be like, "No." But I didn't understand that it was pirated. You know?
Yeah. That was the thing. So I used to work for a screening company that we used to do test screenings for movies that were about to come out. And like it was a big part of all of this stuff that they don't want, unless the movie was in Spanish, they didn't want fucking Mexicans to be part of the test screening. Like they had to find ways to not allow them. And the thing is that they wanted, white men age 18 to 34. I think that's the number, or 18 and whatever the number is. That's the quadrant that they want. And so like they're trying to find ways to get those people in and to keep Mexicans out. But a big part of it was that, like you said, like Mexicans, they were at a time a given percentage of moviegoers. So they'll go see any movie because that's what they do. Like that's a given percentage. And the thing was too is that they bootleg a lot of movies. Yeah. So that they're like, oh, they literally, like my boss told me Mexicans don't go to movies, and I was like, I'm here now, fool. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, I love movies,
Yeah, but I also think it's a respect thing, to be honest, because like I don't think Mexicans would bootleg movies that they could see themselves in. I think they did it because they were like, fuck it, like. Because like, it's important. We were talking about in the Patreon episode about like playing music and stuff. And it was so important for the band members' parents when we were kids that we played, songs that were in Spanish, because like, they were like, they always, profess like how important that is. And like my dad as a kid, he would always tell me how important like Robert Rodriguez was and Freddie Rodriguez. And like my mom got mad at me because I would say the guitar Ibanez, and she's like, it's Ibanez, fool, you need to say it right. Like how important these things are to our culture, that we would show them that respect and go purchase tickets and like support it monetarily if we were given the opportunities to consume that media.
Like even we talked about it, I think on the Patreon last week, but I saw Encanto. That's not even a Mexican movie. It's about Colombian characters. It's all Colombian actors. But fucking, it was packed as much as it can be during COVID, like to the brim. Every seat was sold out for the entire weekend that it was released, of Mexicans, because it's the closest thing we've ever had to Latino representation. And it like means that much. It wasn't even, it was a lot of children. It's a family cartoon, but it was like two like 20-year-olds brought their grandfather because he wanted to see it. Yeah. Like that's how important it is. It's, you know what I mean? It's like for the people in any media form, comedy, movies, anything, when you say that Mexicans just aren't into it, it's because it looks like that because you're not making it for us. Yeah. Making it for someone else and then expecting us to like it just offhand. It's like, no, if you make something, you've said it before, Mexicans are the most passionate fans ever. Like you give them something they want and they'll love the shit out of it.
Yeah,
like,
Spider-Man. It's like a bunch of Mexicans are going to be watching Spider-Man this weekend. You know?
I'm excited for Spider-Man.
Is that coming out already?
Yeah,
it's coming out this Friday, I believe.
This Thursday.
Oh shit.
Thursday.
Dude, my brother got tickets to see it, I think Wednesday at like 3 p.m. or something. Or Thursday at 3 p.m.
Oh, I will say, I'm glad I got HBO Max because I have a thing about I prefer going to movies. I just don't like going opening weekend. It's so stressful for me. Yeah, because I'm autistic, but I don't like it. It stresses me.
Did you see one of the comments on the last video? They're like, "Why does Ryan keep saying he's acoustic?"
I was so mad at that.
You piece of shit. I love my fans, but whoever you are,
just kidding.
Did you guys remember when El Chicano came out a couple years ago?
El Chicano.
Yeah.
Is it a movie or?
It's a movie. It came out. It was supposed to be like a Mexican superhero movie.
George Lopez.
I think that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Was it?
Was it the one I was talking about?
But what?
Does he ride a motorcycle?
I don't know.
It was the one. I called it the Apache, but it was the El Chicano.
Does he eat bolillos? Just kidding. Dude, if Apache's open, I'm gonna start learning how to draw today.
No, the Chicano was about like drug cartels.
Yeah,
George Lopez was in it. I think he played a villain.
It was the movie I was talking about. I completely
Anyway, the whole thing about that was that like it sucked because that movie, God bless everybody that worked on it, but it's like nobody wanted it to fail. I got into a conversation with Matt Avila about it when it was coming out, and I was like, fuck. I was like, we have to go see it. I was like, you need to at least go buy a ticket to it. And they were like, no, because you can't support mediocre shit. But that's the thing is like there's always this pressure of these things to succeed because if they don't, then like other people won't be getting the opportunities. But everybody that saw the trailer was kind of like, I don't know about this movie. Yeah. It's a little heavy-handed. It's a little bit stereotypy. That it's cool to see that like there's efforts being put in stuff like this, like Primos and Phenomex and all like the Red Locust, all these there's like a new wave of like care and interest being put into Latino stories that we're seeing. Yeah. That we didn't see before. And now we don't really have to worry about if something is going to be good or not to ruin the opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think the Mexicans are super down to go out and watch stuff and pay for it. But there is like some kind of accountability that we have to have where we're like, yeah, dude, we used to bootleg everything. Like, dude, I watched so many fucking movies through bootleg when I was a kid because my Uncle Gavi would give us those movies, bootleg.
Yeah. I have a story about bootlegging, but I wanted you to finish your point.
No, that's it. Just I remember, I think I watched The Sixth Sense in theaters and then I watched it on a DVD where it was just a piece of paper in the front sleeve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw.
Oh, what was that one movie? Directed by M. Night Shyamalan, Invincible or Unbreakable. I saw Unbreakable from a fucking camcorder in a movie theater. You know.
I saw that movie Stripes. It was framing me as just about a zebra who becomes a racehorse. Oh. I didn't realize this was bootleg because I was a kid. But I'm looking back, like my mom spent $3 on it and she bought it in the middle of a salon from some dude with a duffel bag. It was bootleg. But now I'm remembering there was this scene that I just saw like a year ago that I've never seen before in its full view because during the bootleg recording, the guy filming it in theaters, the maitre d', someone reported him, so he has to hide his camera. So at one point, the camera just zooms in on this horse's ass, and then a sweater falls over it for like a full 10 minutes of the whole movie. Yeah. Like, I have no idea what's going on in this episode. I don't know why the director shot it this way. This movie fucking sucks. Because I was like, I don't know, 10 years old.
But also at the same time, you know, there should be accountability from Mexicans altogether being like, yeah, we fucking did. I watched a lot of bootleg movies. They don't have accents like that, but I just do that for everyone. At the same time, though, it's like there is no statistics on like how much money was lost in like through bootlegging. Yeah. You know, they never really like widely report on who got caught up or like if there was some big fucking chain of bootleggers that were taken down. It's just like stereotypically like Mexicans bootleg stuff, so we're not going to support their kind of media.
I think, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like I feel like it was stereotype that was thrust upon because I mean I would imagine that a lot of people. Seinfeld had a whole episode about
bootlegging's just a thing about
them bootlegging. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just Mexicans doing it.
Yeah. For the most part, in my experience.
Yeah, but you're around Mexicans.
Yeah. Barbershop also had a joke about bootlegging.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of that was just kind of thrust upon Mexicans. I'm not going to say that we didn't do it. I've been a swap meets and we sell them, but like, yeah, it's a thing that I feel like it was thrust upon like Latinos.
But let us make fucking Batman piñatas at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a Batman piñata for my birthday once.
It wasn't legal, fool. Allegedly, you had one.
His name was. How do you say Batman in Spanish? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Fuck, none of us know. Now I gotta learn that word. It was Pointy Zorro.
What are you gonna say? What are you saying?
I don't remember.
Oh, Zoroman.
Zoroman.
Anyways, yeah. So I'm excited for Primos, and I was gonna ask you which who's publishing it, and it's AWA. What does that mean?
Artists, writers, and actors, or something like that.
Yeah,
It has like a generic name. It's like actors, writers, and artists.
they should get bought out by Marvel. Fuck it, dude.
That fool left Marvel to start this company.
Yeah, stop giving them ideas.
They probably
Marvel's
will,
taking
like at some
everything.
point, if
Yeah.
it becomes successful enough, then like they'll just become a subsidiary of Marvel. That stuff happens all the time.
Yeah,
Because like that guy was saying, like, you know, there's not enough. They're not taking enough chances at Marvel. So he was like a big proponent of like of fucking Robbie Reyes and Miles Morales and the Hulk that was Korean. Miss Marvel, all of these people. And so he's like, they're not taking enough chances. So he left to go start AWA.
yeah.
You know, I never got to check her out, but there was also a hero that was made, I think, 2019. It was supposed to be like, I think you were just talking about her. She was like the new Ms. Marvel, but her other name was like Americana or something. And she was like Captain America, but Hispanic.
Latina.
I haven't looked into that comic enough. I want to look into that one too.
Yeah. It's America Ferrera. That's the name of the person. And I think she plays like Miss America. Or is it Captain America? I don't know.
It was like Ms. America or something. I don't know.
So
they're weird about it.
I'll just be honest right now. I'm not a huge fan of the term Latinx, right?
Right.
But
We're aware.
I'm super down for X-Men to have a Latinx character, dude. Like, he's just like Latinx, and then he like has the best powers. He's like Superman of X-Men.
There's actually a mutant called X-Man.
Latinx man.
That's what that was funny.
Well, it kind of takes away from like the fact that he's like, you know, non-binary. If he's Latinx man,
There.
just
Latinx person,
They're just-
persona Latinx,
they're just called the X.
the X, the Latin X, fool. I'm sorry. Anyways, I think that would be a good idea.
You're being so hard on the Latin. It's
I mean, it would be cool. I can't off the top of my head think of any like Latino.
If there's a superhero called Latinx, then I'll let people call me Latinx all the time, dude.
That's what I thought fucking Phenomex was, because I learned about that in like 2018 or 19, like when he first announced the idea. I thought he was called Latinx, which would have been really funny.
Yeah, it's Phenomex.
Phenomex is on sale now, right?
Yeah, this one I think
They
made.
just released the first one, and I mean, this has nothing to do with us, but if anybody out there is an artist, he's doing a contest for their next issues. So hit him up on his Twitter.
Oh,
I don't know if he's doing another contest, but
John Leguizamo.
one of them just concluded.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I like to see. Obviously, I know that John Leguizamo is like, you know, leaps and bounds above us in terms of like stature and notoriety and like the opportunities he's able to give. But it's like always really cool when you see people like giving back opportunities to the community.
Yeah. Well, I'm down, dude. I'm down to get Primos. I'm down to check out Phenomex, even though the artwork I'm not a huge fan of.
It's a little WB.
Yeah.
But it looks like a good comic.
It's a little WB and not enough CW for my life. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so go check out fucking Phenomex, Primos, and what was the third one? Red Locust, right?
Yeah.
And Red Locust is a Marvel property.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, yeah, it's
Okay.
made by Marvel.
So hopefully we get a Red Locust MCU in 2027, dude, because
That'd be
they fucking plan the
fucking
movies
amazing.
out in
Yeah.
years.
That would be cool.
I forget how the character's written, but I believe the character lives in Mexico.
You said the F, right, earlier? The Mexico City?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, anything else you guys want to say?
No, I mean, you know, if you're a comic book reader and you know of other any comics that we should check out, or Ryan should check out because he's the one that reads them. But I'd love to know or share with other people.
Hey, dude. Share other projects in general, dude. I found out about... Oh, I can't remember their name right now. A metal band that's all Hispanic people, and they're doing really well. I think they follow us.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
There's a
the
metal
name
band
of
that
it.
follows us.
Yes.
Do you know what their name is?
Nope.
Jesus Christ, Ryan.
It starts with a P, I swear. I'd have to look at my phone. I don't want to take my photo. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to say it next time because I fucked up right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember your name next time, I
The
promise.
next episode's going to be Metal-Isimo, dude. But yeah, so also we have shirts on sale. I just sent out the first batch of shirts. It's the the Miami Heat design by Ryan Reyes, and then there's the regular yellow and red design, and they're only on sale till December 31st, and that's when they stop. And yeah, it's just somebody said it's just your name on a shirt. It's like, no shit, dude. It's like, what the fuck? That's what we are, is Isimo, dude. Yeah. And if anyone wants to draw like an Isimo man or Isimo superhero, it can't be Isimo man. It has to be Isimo. Dude, that's a good name for a superhero, right?
I hope that person's like super into basketball or something. Like they have tons of jerseys. Yeah. It's just your name on a shirt, dude.
Oh, yeah. Charlotte Hornets. That's all you have on your shirt, bitch. Yeah. I didn't call him a bitch. I just, like, it's a,
I'll call him a bitch. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so check it out on our Etsy. I'll have it linked in the description below. And also check out all the comics we were talking about, dude. Primos comes out in February 2022.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited about. Sorry, everybody else.
That could be the end of the episode thing. Like, if you got this far, let us know about Mexican comic book.
That's what I just said. That's literally what I just said.
I'm autistic. I don't listen. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, that's called sordo, not autistic. Sordo is deaf. You guys laugh. Okay.
What?
But anyways, so yeah, thank you for watching. Please follow us on Instagram at IsimoPod if you haven't already. Check out our Etsy, follow us on Spotify and YouTube, and leave us an Apple rating. And until next time,
don't fly.
Peace to my podcast.